What's up? This is going to be my first review since Lunchbox has, I think, officially left the show. He might occasionally come back. I don't know. I haven't really talked to him about even doing the show without him yet, to be honest with you, which I think is maybe kind of a douchebag move, but if people were interested in doing it, he probably would have said something, hey, why haven't we done an episode in a while? So, I'm guessing he probably, doesn't want to do it anymore. Or, I don't know. But I'm going to stick to what I told you guys I was going to do, and I'm going to give you reviews myself. I actually just, and you may be able to hear it in the background, I don't know. I actually just got a game from Gamefly that I'm sure many of you have heard of, and I'm sure many of you have played, and that game is called Heavy Rain. Now, I beat this game in 2 days. A lot of reason being I haven't played a PS3 game in a while that wasn't SOCOM. Mainly being I don't play a lot of PS3 games. I think the system is really only subpar to Xbox 360, but I digress. It has some pretty good system-specific games on it. One of them being Heavy Rain. It's about a guy who goes around killing children by drowning them in some way due to his fact that he's a complete frickin' psycho. Takes them, puts them by a railroad track, puts a orchid on their chest, and puts an origami figure in their hand. This being a reference to the fact that he's called the Origami Killer. I won't give much away more than that because I don't want to give away too many of the plot devices in the game, but I will tell you that the genre of this game I think is more of a survival mystery. There's a lot of button mashing in this game, and the controls are a little messed up, but the way they do the actual system of the game, the controls are fine for it. I mean, I'm not wild about the controls in this game, but the controls work for what they need to work for. Basically, anything you interact with in the environment, you use the right thumbstick. The fact that you can move the controller around up and down, left and right, that's a function of the PS3 controllers. That comes into play. Anything you can really think of about that they could do with a PS3 controller, they use. I mean, there's certain situations where you gotta move the right stick slowly in the direction it tells you to. There's times when you gotta push and hold buttons, when you gotta push buttons quickly. I'll tell you a little bit about the characters real quick. The main guy, the main guy in my opinion, may not be the main guy in everybody's opinion. His name is Ethan Marsh. I think is actually I heard his name pronounced like 18 different ways throughout this game. I'm pretty sure it's Ethan Marsh. But nonetheless, he's Ethan. It's really the only name you know. He's Ethan. He's the father of one of the main plot points of this game. His son gets kidnapped by the Origami Killer, and Ethan goes out to discover what happened to his son. There's also Madison Page, who is a journalist, claiming to be a photographer. Not quite sure why they threw the photographer thing in there when, from my playthrough, it really made no difference whatsoever whether she was a journalist or a photographer. Much like any of the other 4 characters, you really don't need one, which is why Ethan can be argued not the main character, because he can die. In fact, any of the characters in this game can die. And before I continue with the characters, let me tell you about that little fun part of the game. If one of your characters dies, the game continues, regardless of whether they live or die. I think if all 4 dies, obviously the game's over, but you can lose any of the 4 of them and the game will still continue. So keep that in mind if you ever pick this game up. I only Gameflyed it, so I wanted all 4 characters to live because I wanted the trophy for it. So there are certain points where I did die, and I actually went back and fixed it, so I didn't die. Okay, back to the characters. Then there's also Scott Shelby, who is a private eye, or a private detective, if you want to get specific. He's a heavyset guy, and he's older, and he is out helping the families of the people who were victims of the Origami Killer. He was probably actually my favorite character of the entire game. I thought the way he did things was awesome. Of course, sometimes you get to pick the way people do things in the game, so but I don't know. And then there's also a close second for my favorite, maybe even my favorite. I don't know. I can't really determine my opinion what my favorite is. Really isn't that important. Norman Jayden. And Norman Jayden is a weird-ass name to begin with. His main plot device in the game is the fact that he's this FBI agent who's addicted to some drug. And also, he has these cool sunglasses and this glove he puts on, and it makes him more, how would you say, efficient at what he does. This game is full of really good plot twists, and I'd recommend it. I give it a 4.5 stars out of 5, only because the controls blow. But for the most part, the difficulty doesn't matter from what I've seen. I had no problem with it on the medium difficulty, I guess you would call it. And you can get all the trophies on the easiest difficulty if you want to. So I recommend this game. So that's my review for this week. Hope you guys at least watched it or enjoyed it. Still working on what I'm going to do, change the show. So if you guys have any recommendations, let me know.